Mr. Mark Cooper is Governor John Bel Edwards' chief of staff. And you went to Parkway, too.
I did.
Holy cow, man. Well, we discussed this off the air. You went to Parkway. See, when we moved here, my family moved here, it was Parkway Junior High.
Right.
Then it was Parkway High School in the same spot. That's where you went.
Right.
Now it's back to being middle school / junior high, but it's called Elm Grove.
Right.
And Parkway is, I'm very confused.
Which was out at Taylortown.
Wow. Yeah, that was way down on the other side of the railroad tracks.
I was an Air Force brat, so we were transferred here about the time it became a high school, actually, I think. Around 1971. I think 69 was when it became a high school.
Welcome home.
Thank you. It's great to be back.
Matt, who is our digital guy, has been going absolutely crazy the last few days over this big confab, this big get-together that's been going on right here in Shreveport Downtown Convention Center. And then I come in this morning and he says, "This is even more incredible." I said, "What?" I'm just gonna lay it out all for you, just unroll the rug and let you go.
Right.
And now he's talking about there's this big Israeli company, digital company, that's going to, you take it from there, fill everybody in on what happened at the Cybersecurity Conference this week.
Right.
And about this Israeli company, Matt is so goofy about.
Right. Well, I know you had Craig Spawn on. I believe it was on Monday or Tuesday. So he's much smarter than I am, by the way. And he and I were actually classmates at Parkway. So I've known Craig for a long time. And if I could give a little history of how it even ended up here, I know Craig told you a little bit, but I can give you the inside scoop if you'd like it. So, Craig has been involved in cyber, as he indicated, for over 10 years, and he was largely responsible for bringing the Cyber Center here to Shreveport-Bossier under Governor Jindal. So kudos to Governor Jindal and to Craig for what they did in bringing that here and having the foresight to making it one of the premier cyber centers in the country. Governor Edwards, about a year and a half ago, was made co-chair of the Cyber Task Force as part of the National Governors Association. And they came to him and said, "Would you like to have a conference in Louisiana?" And of course, when everyone says conference, they think New Orleans.
Sure.
And we know what's been going on up here between what Dr. Geis is doing at Louisiana Tech. The governor worked with Grambling. They now have a cyber degree program. We've got stuff that's going on at BIPSI that everyone knows about. And of course, we said, well, we'd like to have it in Shreveport-Bossier. And they said, well, no, New Orleans is a much easier to get into. But we said, no, we'd like to have it in Shreveport-Bossier. So it was kind of a push, but they finally agreed. And let me just tell you that it has been an incredible conference. They have had record attendance. They had over 150 more than they normally do. And just so you know, this conference in the past was held in the Silicon Valley in San Jose. Another time it was held right outside of D.C. They've had all 50 states plus some of the territories. The National Governors Association, they have two major conferences every year that not all the governors, because what I'm going to tell you is never do they ever get all 50 states. And that's what they've been talking about. And the governor talked about that yesterday. So this is like a first for them. So they're all over the top. So as far as the success of that conference, I mean, we're very happy. And the city, both Shreveport and Bossier, really put their best foot forward.
Well, tell us about this Cybent, though, because that's going to be big for our city.
It is going to be. And let me just say, because that's just an example, I think, of what we're going to start seeing. And all the announcements that were made yesterday, including, the new off-ramp off of I-20, that's going to actually connect Barksdale with the Cyber Innovation Center, because we've got 2,400 acres out there that Craig has there at that Cyber Innovation Center. So the hope is that companies will see that and what's going on at Barksdale, that now you have a connection that will be easy to get from Barksdale to that Cyber Innovation Center. So companies like that will say, wait a minute, this could be a mini version of the Silicon Valley out in California, which is what the governor's been talking about, which I'm sure, Matt, you're excited about. That's what we're looking at. But that was actually a result of the trip that the governor took to Israel last October. He met that company and they came and they saw what we're doing here. So that's an online program, and it's for those 4 universities I think I heard you all mention earlier, between Grambling, Louisiana Tech, LSU.
Tied in with basically all the universities in this part of the state.
Right. And it's just one of many companies, but they see what we're doing here. They see it as an opportunity. It's not creating any additional jobs, but it's making an opportunity to train additional students in a different way. But I think it's the first example of what we hope will be additional companies looking at what we're doing here. And again, we had 50 states, over 400 people from both private sector, government, nonprofits here seeing what we're doing and have an opportunity to put our best foot forward. We had a panel yesterday. We had Dr. Geis. We had Dr. Gal from Grambling. We had others. Craig was on this panel. I mean, I afterwards, 'cause when you have these panels, we're all kind of tied in, and you think, well,
Sure.
Is Rhode Island really concerned about what's going on in Louisiana? They were all blown away about what we're doing here, and hearing from them all the different the infrastructure, the technology, the education system. They were all very excited. So we hope.
Are we ahead of the game?
Yes, we are. We are ahead of the
And
game.
how far ahead?
I think we're a lead, and I know that we're a leader internationally. And I had a conversation last night. We had a reception out at the stage and by the way, that was fantastic.
It's Silver Star, yeah.
This is Silver Star,
Right.
But it's called the stage, though, right?
Mm-hmm. The stage at Silver Star.
It blew people away. They really rolled out the red carpet. They thought they were in New Orleans the way that was.
Wow.
But there were all the states were there. Homeland Security advisors from all the states, and I was talking to the person from New Jersey, and he was saying, well, Louisiana's with New Jersey, and what was the other state he was talking about? I think it was Minnesota. So yes, we're one of the leaders, and what these conferences do, you talk about best practices so you can compare yourselves, and they get to see what we're doing, we get to see what they're doing, and then we can learn from that and implement that in our states. But to answer your question, yes, we are a leader.
Is it going to eventually translate into a lot more jobs?
That's what the
And
hope,
how?
And that's what the hope is. Again, by all the announcements yesterday and this conference, it wasn't like this just happened. We wanted this to be a week of cyber here up in northwest Louisiana, and so the way it's going to happen is, and Craig's been working. Again, this just didn't happen the last 3 or 4 years. This has been happening over the last 10, but certainly the governor has seen this as an opportunity, both for Barksdale and for Northwest Louisiana. The things he has said is that, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, when they're looking at base closures, we want to continue to make Barksdale relevant, and we are certainly doing that as a state with what occurred this week.
Well, I would think they didn't have, is simply put, they didn't have this meeting here that's a big boy meeting.
Yes.
They didn't have this here because they don't think there's potential in the area.
Absolutely. This is the National Governors Association. I mean, you got New York, California. I mean, these are the big boys, as you indicated, and girls that are coming here, to learn. And we put our best foot forward. And Shreveport, I mean, just even looking around, I mean, walking the streets of Shreveport, the mayor did a great job of presenting the city. So we were very proud of the end product, and we heard nothing but positive from both the NGA too. They were blown away as well, and so it was great.
When you think of Silicon Valley and those others where this is a hub really is there. What can we do? What can we do from here?
In other words, what's the next move?
To make it keep growing?
Well, I think we all need to keep focused. We've seen some progress. I mean, obviously, I think, again, the announcement at Barksdale yesterday to connect Barksdale Air Force Base, with the Cyber Innovation Center, 2,400 acres. I think both Bossier, the leadership, and they have been, the local leadership, Mayor Walker's been very instrumental. He's been there how many years now? I mean, he's been there from the beginning, I think, since the Cyber Innovation Center. I think local leadership, working with, the state and also private industry, I think that's important. We've got the infrastructure there. The universities are set up. Louisiana Tech, as you all well know, has got the only cyber degree engineering program in the country. Grambling, minorities and women are underrepresented. You could have seen that at the conference. Actually, there are very few women in there. We've got it all here, and we're even doing it in the high schools. And one thing, let me just say, if I can, I know I don't have much time. For me yesterday, one of the things we wanted to do, and we pushed hard to get this done. We actually had a high school competition 2 weeks ago that was part of this conference. We had over 1,200 students from across the country, and this is something that Craig did. 350 high schools. They did a cyber competition that occurred over 3 days. Yesterday, they recognized the winners. But what that did was, again, we had 1,200 students potentially could go to Louisiana Tech to get their cyber engineering degrees.
I think Greg, who does the afternoon show, his son was part of that.
Yes,
right?
his son was one of the winners. Yeah, airline.
Robotics and stuff.
We had a great, and this is the first time they'd ever done that. And again, this was Louisiana. We really set the bar high on this conference, but it's because cyber, again, we're a leader in that area.